Pets Add Life, your guide to the latest in pet trends, products, and the joy of the human-animal bond, with Kristen Levine and Chris Bonifati, powered by the American Pet Products Association and Dog TV.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the PAL Podcast. I am Chris Bonifati, joined as always by the radiant and ever-ready Kristen Levine. Kristen, how are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. I am radiant and ready.
You are. That's the direct opposite of me. I am sullen and lethargic.
Well, you've got, your regular job is kicking your butt right now. You've got a lot going on.
Yeah, Global Pet Expo is right around the corner. I'm obviously going to be there, but we're going to be there as the PAL Podcast, just like last year. We got ourselves a nice little space on the show floor because, I know a guy. I know a guy who could arrange stuff like that. I've got some pull. But yeah, it's right around the corner. It's crazy how quickly it sneaks up on you every year.
I know. It'd be fun. It'd be cool if we could put that podcast studio that you have at the Global Pet Expo on wheels, and we just go on a road show after the expo.
Ooh, it's like comedians in cars with coffee, but it's like dog people in a mobile grooming van interviewing guests. I don't know. It doesn't have the same ring to it. But for now, we're going to stick to the standard template of our show where we bring you two great stories, recommend two awesome products, talk to two amazing guests, and at the very end, we'll answer two of your burning questions. So without further ado, let's get into story time.
Kristen and Chris present Story Time.
All right, Chris, what's your story this week?
I've got a fun one. A few weeks ago, Petco Love selected 25 winning love stories highlighting pet adoption. So I'm not going to read any of these tear jerkers for you because you should go to the link that will obviously be in the show notes and you should read them for yourselves. But the winners were given grants towards the shelters where they rescued the animals. All sorts of fun, commercial prizes like footwear and shopping sprees and things like that. But the $100,000 grand prize winner is the Animal Rescue League of Iowa. And the submitter, Amy, talked about a heartwarming love story about a senior cat that she rescued, Murray. It's just, they've got pictures, they've got all these people's amazing stories, and it just made me so happy to be a pet person because, it could be such an impactful thing for so many people, and we often take it for granted, our pets. So never take them for granted. They're amazing little creatures that you get to spend their whole life with. So if you feel like reading some of the stories, link's going to be in the show notes.
That's awesome. I love Petco Love. They do great work.
Yeah, they really do.
So I've got a cat story today.
Oh,
maybe this will cheer you up. So I read this yesterday. This is a story about a Maine Coon named Cleo who really gets around town in his hometown of Halstead, which is northeast of London. So he made the news last week when, Cleo is a she. She made the news.
Cleopatra.
When she decided to join the local police force temporarily because it was raining outside. She managed to hop right into a police patrol car and she made herself at home doing what cats love to do, like sharpening her claws on the seats in the patrol car. And she was grooming herself, and the officer got a real kick at it. It turns out Cleo is quite the local celebrity. Her owner, Carly Thompson, says that she's the most famous cat in town, and she even has her own Facebook page. I looked for it, but I couldn't find it. She regularly visits the local cinema, the bingo hall,
the bingo hall.
Yeah. And the local garage, apparently. So I thought that was a really cute story about Cleo getting around town and making people smile and everybody knows her name. But, I also, as as a cat parent, it made me a little nervous because I'm just worried about Cleo getting hit by a car or getting attacked by, an animal or something like that. So hopefully Cleo has a bodyguard or something.
Yeah, well, Cleo's a Maine Coon. She's her own bodyguard. Believe
That's
me.
true. That's true.
My growing up, we had a Maine Coon, and he was the boss. Any dog, any animal, any deer, coyotes that came into the yard, they did not. He did not suffer fools.
That's
but
probably why she's doing so well.
I'm picturing Cleo as that one of the opening numbers of Beauty and the Beast, where Belle's like going around the town getting all the ingredients. That's Cleo's day to day, just singing a little song in her head, part of a musical, going on little errands that don't really matter so much. I love that. I love that for Cleo.
Beyond the Leash, exploring the untold stories of pet passion and professionalism.
All right, we are excited to welcome Walter Brown, aka Skinny Go Live, to the show today. Now, Walter is a registered veterinary technician, social media influencer, and he's a comedian who's taken the veterinary world by storm. He's got this really awesome blend of humor along with education. And he earned his veterinary tech degree from Fort Valley State University and received specialized training in emergency and critical care at the University of Georgia's Veterinary Teaching Hospital. Now, a little bit more about Walter. I'm excited to talk to him, but currently he serves as a veterinary technician liaison at United Vet Care. Veterinary care, where he creates externship opportunities and develops supplemental learning programs for supported hospitals. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that. And beyond his professional role, he's passionate about making vet medicine more accessible and aims to establish veterinary assistant programs in inner city low-income schools. Welcome, Walter.
What is up, man? I appreciate you all having me. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing great. We're doing
better
great.
now that you're here.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to meet you because I'm one of your followers and you crack me up on the regular. Let me just start out by asking you, how is it that you successfully merged humor with veterinary education through Skinny Go Live?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I don't even know where to start. I have to honestly say, it comes from just being passionate about what I do. And I think the biggest things I'm passionate about is I like to see people happy. My dad, I have to literally give it to my dad. I've never really seen my dad really down. He's always been a jokester. He's always been someone to just have a good time in life and don't worry about the bad things. And so I think being in the industry where you can have a lot of low points or whatnot, not wanting to, how can I brighten up your day kind of deal, but also, learn and also be able to give that out to, just whoever I come in contact with, whether it be a veterinary professional or a pet owner. So, I think that's the biggest part of the root of it. So there's other parts that branch out from it, but, that's just the root of it.
Yeah, and those roots leg you down the pet ownership slippery slope. I saw in some of your videos, you have a lot of animals. You really do. You want to talk a little bit about the menagerie you have over there?
Geez, it's funny, I'm actually in my studio now and I'm looking over to the right of me. It's like my wall of tarantulas. So, starting there with what's craziest, I think, is my tarantulas. I have about 30 of them over here now. And,
whoa.
That's just, people ask me all the time, they're like, dude, but why? And, I think it's just that thing of I had to do a research project on tarantulas when I was a kid. And, it felt like they were like some lonely creatures, they want to be alone, but it's one of them things where people fear the unknown. Right. Yeah. And it's tarantulas, to get bit by a tarantula is like getting struck by lightning. You would rather play the lottery. If you get bit by a tarantula, go ahead and play the lottery type of deal. Because they just don't do that. And, it's just one of those fears of the unknown. And they're actually some cool creatures. So, starts there. Then what else we got over here? We got tortoises. I have a leopard tortoise and a cicada tortoise. Always just wanted a tortoise, it's just that thing. Axolotls, that's the new kid crave right now. I got a bunch of axolotls. I have about 6 axolotls. Actually that, someone gave me a clutch of eggs and they're like, Walt, you want to raise these things? And I'm like, I don't even know what they are. But turned out I did a good job and now I have 6 of them. What else we got over here? We have a little pitty. My wife has a corgi. I tell the people all the time, that's the only thing in the house that we don't share is animals. It's a maniac. We have a little pity, and yeah, and I think that's it for now.
And Quinn.
And Quinn, oh, you know what? What's wrong with me right now? And Quinn, my smush faced kitty that I rescued. So love that cat. Like, how did I forget about her? She's the best animal in the house. So yeah, I'm a cat dad now. I'm a cat dad.
You are. So Walter, you obviously love pets, have a passion for them. At what point in your growing up or teenage years did you decide veterinary medicine is where I want to be?
I actually tell people all the time, I believe veterinary medicine is something that chooses you, right? It's one of those things that I don't think people say, I want to go in. Like people say it, you say it as a kid, right? Until you actually get into veterinary medicine, it's like, oh, like, whoa, like it's some horrible things that come with, animals, like, because you think it's just puppies and kittens and all day. Until you get into it, that's when you actually figure out. And it was definitely some growing pains for me. I give all credit to my grandmother. My grandmother lived on a farm. She had like tons of chickens, pigeons, every animal you can name, right? She just had them. And I kind of grew up out there with my dad, like, feeding the dogs, the cats. So it was, a childhood thing. And then growing up, my parents didn't know a whole lot about pets, right? So I had my first dog that died of like parvo. And, as a kid, that gets you as a kid, right? You're like 9 or 10 and your dog dies like that. Like that's your best friend at 10 years old. So, I wanted to learn more about like, why did that happen? And it's like, oh, there are medications for this. My parents didn't know this, or like there are vaccines. And then I had a dog that died of heartworms, right? So learning these different things, growing up with animals, seeing these different things happen to me as a kid, I wanted to learn more about it because I wanted to like be the voice for these animals. I wanted to be like, how can I save all the animals? And I'm like, I can't save them all if I don't know veterinary medicine. So I think, going from there, it just kind of led me down that road of getting into veterinary medicine. And, again, the people in there with the love of people and the laughter and animals, vet med was just the perfect place for me to kind of nestle down.
I love that answer. And let's say I'm a listener right now, and I'm at the tail end of high school, going into college, and I'm like a young Walter. I'm like, I want to save all the animals, and I've decided I'm going into the vet career, and I aspire to be a vet technician. What type of advice would you give to somebody who is looking to start that sort of journey as somebody who's gone through it?
To let them know, first of all, if you are actually looking for the financial benefits of it, that's not going to get it for you. Like you're never going to get rich in this profession, right? And veterinary medicine is one thing that I tell people is a little bit different, right? We are a healthcare industry in a service environment, right? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, like if you go to the doctor if you and I go to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, you need to go to surgery and have this done and this, we go, right? We don't think about the cost later. We like, oh, we'll worry about that bill later, right? Because we have insurance and stuff in place. But when you go into this field, right, you are going to be dealing with a mix of emotions, right? You're going to be dealing with a lot of pet owners. You're going to be dealing with the actual pet itself. And right, a lot of times you have to remember that you're doing a greater good for that animal, right? So there are a lot of things that come tied to that pet, like pet owners, financial burdens, long hours at work, the fact that there may be a euthanasia, the fact that, the outcome is not what it's going to be. So it's a lot of miseries that come with it, right? So I tell people, while the candy coat side of it looks great, like, oh, puppies, kittens, and you get to do these different things, understand that the inside of it is really something that you have to be prepared for.
Yeah, that's good advice. And talk to us a little bit about what you're doing now with United Veterinary Care, the role you're playing there.
Oh man, that's a little bit of a lot. I tell people I wear a lot of hats with United Veterinary Care. The biggest thing now is like helping. We have a conglomerate of 155 hospitals, and what we're establishing now, what we have already established, is a network of externship opportunities for veterinary students and veterinary technician students to come into these different hospitals, have externship opportunities. So being able to create that space, bring people onto the team to actually put a curriculum together to actually set them up for success in veterinary medicine as they get out, as they're on the tail end of their externships and getting ready to go out into the real world is a great opportunity to give them, the real, like, hey, this is it now. This is your clinical side of it. Like, this is what you're going to see every day. Are you ready for it? So that's the most inspiring thing, is seeing them actually graduate, pass their VTNE, and actually become great veterinary technicians is just the outstanding part of it all.
It's amazing. I mean, you've got the externship programming, your day job, and the social media platform. When do you sleep? How do you balance all of that, man?
I tell people, you can sleep when you die.
Yeah.
But I actually, that's one thing that's challenging, right? It's hard to say no. And I tell myself every year I'm going to start saying no, right, and start putting things that are in front of me important. But man, it's so hard to say no when you know that people genuinely appreciate the things you do. When I go to these conferences, I can be done. I'm I don't want to do another social media post. I don't want to do another lecture. I don't want to do another anything. And then I go to these conferences, right? And these people see you and they're like, oh my God, it's you. And I'm like, it's not that serious. But it's really that serious, right? My wife all the time, I can remember one time, my wife, she's like, what's wrong with these people? Dude, you're just a normal person. And the other part, I worked at a university for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And so I've had the ability to have so many students. And so these students become doctors, right? And then technicians work under these doctors. So again, that branch of arms. So when they're like, hey, have you seen this guy before? And they're like, it's Walter. They're like, wait, I didn't know him. You're like, that's right. You had no chance to work with him. And they're like, yeah. It's what are you he's the, so it's one of those deals where it's the people who know me genuinely, they're like, it's just Walter every day. That's just him every day. But the people that don't know me and that's the person I want to be around. That's the technician I aspire to be. That's how I want to be every day. When they see you, they're like, oh my God, it's that person, And now I've gotten to the point of understanding, I get it. Yep, let's take a picture. I want to show you all the love, whatever I can do to make you the best version of yourself. Even if it's just having this conversation and taking a picture and posting it on my Facebook, it speaks millions for them and they feel like they belong. And that's what we need more in veterinary medicine.
Yeah.
That is for sure. So, Walter, what do you think some of the biggest challenges are facing veterinary technicians today and going into the future?
Oh man, there are a lot of things, and again, the biggest things, and I give a talk about it all the time. The three biggest challenges right now, veterinary technicians, and again, whether how they look at it or where it roots from, is belonging, reward, and recognition. Right, those are the three biggest things that are the challenges for veterinary technicians. They want to feel like they belong in this industry. They want to feel like they belong in the hospitals. And when you look at what a veterinary technician does and what outside physicians do that are in that same space, they don't often get that same belonging and recognition as veterinary technicians. There's a lot of different challenges inside of veterinary medicine, right? There's a group of veterinary technicians that want to be called veterinary nurses, right? And then there's another group that is like, no, we want to continue to be called veterinary technicians, right? And so there's a struggle between us within our own environment. So having the ability to agree on different things and move, have different laws passed about what we can do, and the future of veterinary medicine and veterinary technician has just been a struggle. So, again, that belonging, giving them the reward, the pay, right? Again, I tell you don't get rich in this industry. Your veterinary technician route right now, maybe 40,000, right? On an average 30 to 40, 35, 40,000. And it's hard to live off in this economy now, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times that's one of the biggest things that's happening. We're losing veterinary technicians in the industry at an alarming rate. Mm-hmm. The stats were they would get into the industry and then survive about 7 years before saying, hey, I got to find something else to do. That has gone down to 2 years now. So they're getting in and being like, whoa, I'm out, Again, so we have to deal with unrealistic expectations from some clients, right? And we can't fault them for that. That's my part and everybody else's part to educate owners on different things. So they have the realistic expectations, but when they come in every day with the unrealistic expectations, animals are dying. It's just hard to kind of stay in that environment and thrive, So again, I try to, hey guys, we just had a bad moment. Let's go. Let's have some laughter and get out of the hole. We ain't got time to be in the hole all day, So I just, again, want more veterinary technicians to have that energy. Like, hey, we had a bad moment. Let's get out of this. We're in a crap industry, man. So like, hey, but guess what? We're doing it for the love of these animals that we really love, and we want to see these animals go home to their significant other. So, yeah, that's the biggest challenges. And again, there's so many challenges, but belonging, reward, and recognition are those three key items for veterinary technicians for sure.
Yeah, well, listen, if all of the vet practitioners were as passionate as you, I'm sure there'd be a lot less problems. But you're an absolute gem, Walter. Why don't you tell everybody listening where they could find more about your program, see some of your content, where they could catch you?
Man, catch me on my social media. I am I'm the end of the Gen Zers, I think. So no, I'm a millennial. That's what I am. I don't even know what I am anymore. So again, I'm the Facebooker guy. So a lot of my content is on Facebook. You can find me on Walter Brown or Skinny Go Live on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram at Skinny Go Live. What's the other thing? TikTok. I don't even know how I got there. Skinny Go Live. And definitely, my website is definitely coming out 25-26, which is Emerge and Learn, where they'll actually be able to get some of the CE content that they've all asked for. And hopefully we'll be developing some more things in the future with that platform. Awesome. So looking forward to that. So definitely please follow, tell everybody. And I definitely appreciate you guys at Dog TV for having me today.
Yeah. And before we let you go, I got one last question for you.
What you got?
I love your post about doodles.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Tell us about doodles. Like, it's your pet peeve, right?
How about we say we do, you do doodles, but just don't, don't do doodles. Just say you did, but don't do it.
Let's just use that as a teaser for folks to go check you out and learn about doodles.
Learn more about doodles on Walter's Brown page. I got you. All there you go. You need, follow me. Thank you.
What a great tease. What a great radio tease. Thank you, Walter, for stopping by. This was a treat.
Appreciate you all. Thank you.
All right. Bye now.
You have something in common with Walter, Kristen.
What's that?
You also can't go to the grocery store without getting mobbed 30, 45 autographs. You walk in and everybody's like, it's Kristen Levine. And you're like, I'm just a regular person.
Not true. But thank you for pretending. Lying.
It's not pretending when you're actually that famous. But Walter was such a treat. What a great guy.
He's awesome. And if you're not following him already, definitely follow him on social media.
He's really funny. He's great.
Pets add life.
All right. Joining us now is Brian Foster, the publisher of Lowcountry Dog Magazine. This is a go-to resource for dog lovers in Charleston and beyond. And by the way, I love Charleston. What a great town. Since taking over the magazine in 2015, Brian has expanded its reach from a local print publication to a widely recognized online hub for dog-centric events, also for pet adoption events, advocacy, training insights, health tips, and so much more, just like here on this show. Now, Brian is also the visionary behind Wolfstock. It's a one-of-a-kind low-country dog music festival that blends live music, community engagement, and all things dog-friendly into one unforgettable event. And it's happening in just about a month. So with 20 years in publication, millions of readers worldwide, and his ever loyal chief canine officer, Peanut, by his side, Brian continues to champion pet welfare, rescue efforts, and the joy of dog-friendly living. Welcome, Brian.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah. Seems like it.
So let's just start off by telling us what inspired you to create this dog-friendly music festival. It sounds like a blast.
When I took over the magazine, we didn't really do too many events before that, and I started doing events here and there, just mainly like adoption events. We always had live music, and I'm a big music person, so I was like, I've never been to a dog-friendly music festival, so hey, let's create one. And so we launched it. The first one was in 2019, and we launched it, and it was a huge success, and actually got nominated for Best Fundraiser and won Best Fundraiser of the Year here in Charleston, and was also nominated for Best Festival. We did not win, but we were up against some pretty big ones there, but just being nominated was pretty cool. So now we're in 2025, and we've done 7 festivals. This will be the 5th Wolfstock. We had 2 years where we did a Dogapalooza, which was similar to a Wolfstock, but it was free, where Wolfstock is a ticketed event. So,
Gotcha.
Great. What can people expect this year? What kind of acts do you have? What else do you got going on? With that ticket, what am I getting out of Woofstock?
Yeah, right now, tickets are only $15 this year.
Nice.
We've got 5 bands. We start off with a high school band called Ibex, and they're actually kind of like a School of Rock thing. That's kind of
That's awesome.
they have different members coming in and out, but they're all teenagers. So they're opening up for us. Then we also have JP and the Moonshine Boys, which is John Price, who's a local attorney, and he's a sponsor of the event too. But he has a great kind of 70s style band. They play mostly covers, and they play a lot of different, like good old rock and roll from the 70s. We've got Lauren Hall, who's one of the best country artists here in South Carolina. She's played Wolfstock before, but she's playing this year. We've got 132 West, which is a band out of Tampa, Florida. They've played every single Wolfstock and are a big fan favorite. And then we've got the Midnight City Band, which is the #1 band here in Charleston for anything. They sell out pretty much every show they play, and they're headlining for us this year.
Fantastic. That sounds awesome. Let me just going back to the magazine for a minute. So Lowcountry Dog Magazine has been around for about 20 years. Like you took it over about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
How would you say the publication has evolved since you joined, and what's the biggest change in the dog loving community over that time?
Well, the first issue ever published was April 2005.
Wow.
And the magazine started with 3 ladies that actually met at the dog park. And they were all in either writers or in marketing and so forth. And they just kind of had this idea to come up with a magazine. It started off really small, was just about 20-something pages. And I discovered the magazine in 2010 and started working with them as a part-time ad exec. And then in 2015, the publisher had moved away, and she was wanting to stop because she just she had a kid and didn't have time anymore. So I was like, well, let me buy it from you. So I bought it from her, and we've expanded to now we've got the magazine is 52 pages versus 20 something pages, high quality print. It goes out all over the Carolinas, and then it's read nationwide online.
That's awesome. I want to talk about Charleston for a little bit because Charleston is known as a pretty dog friendly place. I had the honor of being able to visit a few years ago, and definitely got the vibe that it was a dog friendly city. And with more and more Americans owning pets and this demand for dog friendly communities and dog friendly living, what do you think makes Charleston so attractive? Like, what makes it such a good option for pet owners?
I think, we have such good weather that it's pretty much an all year long thing that you can be outside. We have such great places to go with dogs, the beaches, we've got all of our, like the county parks in Charleston all have dog parks and walking trails and all that. And then with the weather being good, so many of our restaurants are outside seating, so they're dog friendly. So it's just kind of a great atmosphere and place for you to have a dog because there's so many places you can take them if they're the kind of dog that wants to go there. But yeah, so I mean, we started having our events at dog friendly places. Like the first event we ever threw was at a restaurant that was dog friendly, and we took over the parking lot and we had 800 people come out with their dogs, and it was like crazy. Wow. Just people wanting to have something like that to go to and have fun. So like for like events at Wolfstock, we have a play area for the kids. We have a play area for the dogs. We have lure courses for the dogs to run and chase. Sometimes we'll have agility equipment out there and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff for people to be, active with their dogs in coming to one of our events.
I have a quick Charleston dog story. I visited with my husband a couple of years ago in October, and we were just walking around trying to figure out where to go to dinner one night. And we came upon this church. There was a big sign outside that said "Blessing of the Animals." And so we walked in, and the pews were filled with people and their dogs, just having a blessing of the animals of it. It was right around the St. Francis of Assisi date. But that was really cool. So now switching gears, I know you're a huge advocate for pet adoption and rescue.
Yes.
Can you tell us about some of your efforts and how they're woven into the Wolfstock event?
Well, what we do, all of our events are typically adoption events. And like for Wolfstock, we'll have 10 different rescues and shelters there that bring adoptables out. All of the funds that we raise at Wolfstock goes to those groups. And that's the way it is for all of our events. Whatever money we make off of the event, we split it up between the rescues. And Wolfstock has, I think in its best year, we raised $20,000 for the rescues. So that's just kind of, I got into the magazine because of rescue. Because of Peanut. Yeah, I want to correct you. Peanut actually passed away at the beginning of 2023 at 17 years old.
Sorry.
So we have Lovey now, who is our, she was our canine correspondent, and now she just recently at the end of the year got promoted to chief canine officer. She's
Awesome.
she's a little shy, or I would have her on camera. She was a feral dog, and so she doesn't trust people too much, but we have our media assistant has a golden retriever named Tula, and that's our new canine correspondent that goes out and checks out places and gives it her rating and so forth. So
That's great.
That's amazing. And I love all of the dog-based content coming out of the magazine and you know, on the social medias and stuff like that. But I always do say that part of that engagement is educating people. So what are some of the topics you try to focus on when you're doing this creative style of storytelling so that people could be better pet parents?
Yeah, well, every single issue we have what we call our sit, stay, behave section, which is typically written by a dog trainer, or it's on some topic of dog training. And then in our current issue, we actually have a memoriam to Karen Pryor, who passed away recently, and she was the inventor of clicker training. We also have a health and wellness section. So like our current issue, we have all about dental and what it takes to do, you know, why your dog might need a dental procedure and that sort of thing. But we're always talking about food and nutrition, you know, any sort of specialty care, that sort of thing. So we always have at least those two articles as informative articles. And then we always have a feature story, which could be something topical or anything like that. And then our cover story is usually always something fun. So we actually have a contest every year that starts in March for people to enter to be a cover model. And then also that's how we pick our calendar models. We do a calendar every year that's very, very popular. And, you know, we have over 600 dogs usually compete to be those calendar models.
Wow.
That's incredible. So Brian, tell our listeners how they can learn more about Woofstock and where they can get tickets.
The best thing to do is go to our website, lowcountrydog.com. You can read the magazine there. There's obviously a link there to go to Wolfstock. The best way just to go get tickets is wolfstock.live. If you just go to wolfstock.live, it'll take you straight to the ticketing site. And like I said, tickets are only $15, which is cheaper than what we normally do, but we've got good sponsorships this year, so we're able to keep the price down really low. So we hope we have at least 2,000 people come out this year.
That's awesome. I mean, where can you have such a great time with the whole family and the dog for $15? Nowhere.
Yeah. And kids are free.
Incredible.
And kids are free. We have some of the best food trucks in the area come out. We have our bar is all donated, so all the alcohol sales that we have goes to the rescues. There's tons of fun for family, and if you just want to hang out in the craft area where all the rescues and the craft vendors are and not listen to the music, you can do that. Or some people come up and they set up their picnic blanket and they just hang out all day. So it's great fun. It's really low key. It's not high energy and to get the dogs all amped up or anything. Most of the dogs just chill out and lay out on the lawn and listen to music. So
that's amazing. I'll be there. I won't be there. It's a little far from Connecticut.
we have people come from Florida and North Carolina. We have people come from other states to come out to it. So
I bet.
That's amazing. It sounds like an awesome time. And if you're in the Carolina area, check it out. How many Wolfstocks? Maybe there's going to be that one Wolfstock similar to that one Woodstock that everybody should have been at. They're gonna have a Great Dane dressed as Jimi Hendrix playing the national anthem at 6:30 in the morning. You don't want to miss out. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today, Brian, to talk about Wolfstock. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Pets add life.
I was just looking to see how far Charleston is from where I live. I might do this. Sounds like fun.
If I feel like it's a hike, but hey, for Wolfstock, it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's a pilgrimage. 4 hours and 27 minutes.
Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it would be.
No.
4 hours. You could do that in like 4 hours.
Or if my husband's driving, it'll take 6 hours.
Oh, got him. Burned.
You know what he said to me the other day? He said, have you noticed how people ride your you-know-what when you're driving around town? I said, babe, that's because you're driving too slow.
You gotta go faster.
Yeah. He consistently drives about 5 to 10 miles under the speed limit.
Well, he'll always get to his destination safely. That does not mix well with my New York sensibilities. If I could save a minute, I'm taking the minute. It's my minute.
The product of the week.
Okay, it's time for the product of the week. And Kristen, I'm going to go ahead and let you kick this one off.
Okay, well, Tulip, my dog Tulip suggested this one. And these are some awesome new treats we discovered. They're called Chillin Chicken Treats. And as you can see, the bag is empty. I just had to order. I just ordered more. But this is from a new company called For Love of Pets, not For the Love of Pets, but just For Love of Pets. The link will be in the show notes. But here's what's cool about them. They actually have a calming effect because they use chamomile. They use like a chamomile broth to marinate the chicken in first. And the chicken is vegetarian fed, cage free, antibiotic, hormone and steroid free USDA human grade chicken. So they marinate the chicken in the broth and they add some chopped parsley and then they dehydrate the strips. So Tulip goes crazy when this bag comes out. So I think it's a great healthy treat idea for your dog. I bet cats would like them too.
Probably.
It's just chicken. It's just fried chicken.
Yeah. Tulip's eating better than me.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you what, we liked them so much that I reached out to them and I said, hey, can you provide my subscribers over at Pet Living a special discount code? And she gave us one. So if you want to try them, Tulip25 is the code to get 25% off if you want to check them out for your dog.
A little tulip-fluencer. Not really there.
Yeah,
it's
like
not really
that.
There. It's not there. We're filming this at 4:30 a.m. Off the coast of Virginia, and so I'm just completely out of it. No, that's
a tasty
really,
product.
Yeah, that's really great stuff. I love how natural treats have become. And I hate that Tiger won't eat them.
Oh,
Tiger's like a Midwesterner cat.
Okay.
Who just eat like whatever junk you put in front of her. But the second you give her vegetarian, cage free, all natural,
she's not having it.
Yeah, not having it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's yours?
My product. I'm in the dog universe, and this is a versatile 4-in-1 slow feeder dog bowl from Super Feedy. So if you're looking for, if you're like one of those people who hates having it, like if you have a smaller apartment or you just don't have a lot of room to store your dog stuff, and you've got the regular bowl and the slow bowl and the licky mat and the to-go containers and all this kind of stuff. This is like a one container solution for you. So it
Cool.
sort of sits like a Tupperware. It's got a reversible licky mat cover, and then a regular bowl and insert for slow feeder. So like kind of all in one. And depending how you like arrange it, it serves different purposes. It's on sale right now for $40.
Cool.
And there's ways to store food for later and slow down your beagle's pace so that they don't get sick. So I just thought that was really great because I love these. As a kitchen guy, I love it when a product does like a lot of things because I run out of room in the kitchen cabinet so quickly.
It's like a Swiss Army knife of dog bowls.
That's exactly what it is. Yes, that's what they should call it, the Swiss Army knife of dog bowls.
Q&As.
All right, it is time for our favorite section of the show, and that is when we answer 2 of your questions from the audience. And Chris, why don't you tell them how they can submit their question?
It's easy, people. It's never been easier. You head on over to petsadlife.org/podcast, scroll on down to the bottom of that page, and you are going to see a beautiful form. Just one of the most fantastic forms you've ever seen in your life. Fill that out. Fill it out with your question, hit submit. Or hear me out. If you're feeling as brave as a Midwestern cat trying an all-natural treat for the first time, you can record a voice memo. You might hear your question played live on this very show. So what do you got for us today, Kristen?
Okay, so I've got a question for you.
Okay.
This comes from Marco in Seattle, and Marco says, I love my cat Felix, but his scratching is getting out of hand. My arms are covered in little scratches, and sometimes they really hurt. I know he doesn't mean to, but is there a way to train him to be gentler? Are there techniques or products that can help prevent these painful scratches while still letting him express his natural instincts?
This is a great question. And this is so much easier to train on dogs than it is on cats. But the process is pretty similar. When cats are developing, or any animal for that matter, play is how they hone and express their instincts in a safe environment. But they only learn limitations when discomfort is expressed. So you need to make it. You need to be like a professional soccer player. You need to flop when that cat scratches you. You need to make it known that hurt, that you are in pain, that it has made you uncomfortable. It really guilt them. Make it feel bad, even if it was minor, because cats don't know what the word no means. They don't speak English or Spanish or Italian or Mandarin. They have no idea what you say to them, but they'll understand the way you said it. And cats will always push the limits. They're creatures that just exist to push the boundaries of what they're allowed to do. So you need to set those boundaries nice and firm. If it doesn't get better, there are techniques to cut your cat's nails that are safe and cause no pain. They grow different than people nails, but it's the same idea. There's a way to cut them so that they don't experience any pain. It could be very frustrating for them, though, since there is that instinct to sort of claw and pull at things. So I would use that as a last resort. Tiger gets her nails clipped every few months, and it makes her feel a lot more comfortable on the hardwood and the tile and things like that. So you talk to your vet. I don't recommend cutting your cat's nails yourself. The vet has like a special little thing they put them in so that they can do it. So unless you're really brave, unless you're really brave. But yeah, that would be my advice.
Excellent advice. All right, what do you have for me?
Let's see here. I've got a question from Vanessa in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for your question, Vanessa. Vanessa asks, my sweet poodle Polly is turning 1 soon, and I want to throw her an amazing birthday party. Do you have any fun ideas for dog birthday parties? What kind of activities, treats, and decorations make for a great celebration? And are there any do's and don'ts when inviting other dogs to the party?
Ooh, I love this question because I feel like I'm a pet party expert. I have only held one dog birthday party, but it was epic. Believe me, it was epic. Let's start out with talking about a location for the party. You can do a dog birthday party in your home. You can do it in your yard if the weather permitting. If you're thinking about having a bigger party, inviting more guests, you could even talk to your local shelter or dog training facility to see if they rent space out if you need a larger area. But I think where you need to exercise the most caution is in who you invite. Dog birthday parties are really for people, right? I mean, the dogs might have fun too, but you want to make sure that you're inviting well-socialized dogs that your dog is comfortable with. And it's perfectly okay to only invite a few dogs and lots of people that love their dogs, because nobody wants to put their dog in an uncomfortable situation where they're not going to enjoy themselves. But aside from that, when I did a birthday party for my dog Buck, who was turning 13, and I held a party where I invited family and friends. We had about 40 people, and only about 10 dogs came. And we had a lot of fun with the treats. I had, paw print shaped cookies for the humans. We served hot dogs for the humans. And for the dogs, we had just all healthy. I had an assortment of healthy treats, kind of like little party favors to take home. And this one activity that I planned that I thought was going to go over so well totally flopped. So it was supposed to be like, remember bobbing for apples? I don't know if you've ever even. Okay.
Come on.
All right, for people. So I thought we would do bobbing for Vienna sausages for dogs. I thought that would be a great a great game.
Okay.
Except none of the dogs would just stare into the bucket. And they didn't understand how to bob and put their nose in to grab one. So it kind of fell flat. So just know that whatever activities you plan, it might not go off like you think, but you're going to have a good time anyway. Decorations are fun. There's tons of great pet themed decorations at your local party store or on Amazon. And and for gifts, I personally just asked for donations to my favorite animal shelter. But you could certainly allow people to bring gifts for your dog for Polly's first birthday party. So
I feel like an animal birthday party is similar to like a small child's birthday party with the rules, right? Like it's going to be chaos. It's mostly for the adults. And just try to keep the alcohol to a reasonable amount. Just try to keep it reasonable. Okay. We're there for Polly.
That's right.
Well, Kristen, I think that's all the time we have for
already
this week. I know it flies by in an instant. One second you're interviewing a guest, the next you're doing the sign off. It's insane how quickly these things move. But fear not, dear listener. We will be back here next Tuesday because we never stop. There's no stopping us. We can only be contained, but never stopped. So contained to one day a week. Where we will see you next Tuesday. So until then, be kind to yourself and be kind to your pets. And we'll see you in a week.
Farewell.